Today I'm going to be showing you here at the Board Game Network how to play this game called Islebound. It plays 2 to 4 players in about an hour and a half. It's put out by Red Raven and it was designed by Ryan Laucat. I'll just show you this. The setup is right here, and these boards are two-sided. So the side you want when you're a beginner is the side that does not have a symbol right here. There's a little leafy symbol here. So you keep the other side that does not have the symbol here, and you can just put these, you need to keep it in this shape, these tiles, but they can be mixed up however. And then these are ports here at the 4 corners, and you want to make sure you've got 4 different names, because when you turn it over, this one matches another name. You are going to take these renown tokens and mix those up and set them up here. You're going to take these event cards, you're going to mix those up and put them face up and just split them in half. So you got them there. And then your renown cards, you're going to mix those up and split those in half. You are going to get a ship of a certain color with the same cubes of that color. You're going to get 7 coins, and you're going to get 3 crew members. And those 3 crew members are all going to have just a single symbol on them. 2 with the scroll and 1 with the hand. The first player is going to take the first player card, and that just helps you remember at the end of the game who the first player was. You have some pirates here, you have some sea serpents here, and they're identical, so no need to mix them up. And you're going to put a cube here on your speed. Each boat has a speed of 2 to start with. And starting with the player to the right of the first player and going around the table, you pick a port. So there's 4 ports available, so you can decide which port is your home port. So the first player would be the last person to pick a port. You are going to shuffle these cards and flip 5 of them face up here. And the first one is going to have 3 books token above it. The second one's going to have 2, and this one's going to have 1. And then here's the other crew members, and they're all the ones that have 2 symbols on them. Any leftover ones with a single symbol, they're out of the game. So all the ones with the 2 symbols, you just mix those up, and you're going to put the first 3 of them here. And you're going to take these 2 cities on these 2 event cards, and you're going to put event tokens in those cities. Now, you have a reference card here that shows you what you can do on your turn. The very first thing you have to do is you have to move. So you can move either 1 or 2 spaces, and you cannot end up in the same space that you started in. You'll notice there's tiles, but each tile has 3 spaces on it. So if I wanted to move 2 spaces, I could go here and then here with my boat, and then do whatever I want to there. So once I've moved, then I can either visit. These 4 actions are one-time actions, so you can do any of them one time on your turn. You can visit, and visit, you pay whatever the cost is in this brown banner here, and then you get whatever is up here in the banner. Attack means you're looking at the red banners here. The blue banners are not attack. Red banners are attack. So you're attacking this city, and then you're making it your city. And the point of that is you still get to visit, and you get some spoils. You get some money. And anybody else that visits that city from then on, when they have to pay money to visit, they have to pay it to you. Diplomacy is pretty close to attack, but it's on the blue ones, and it works differently. Hunt for treasure. Anytime you visit and you pay coins, those coins go to the map on the renown board, And if you hunt for treasure, then you just take all the coins off of there and you get them. If there are no coins on there, then you take 1 coin. So those are all of the one thing you can do actions, and then down here are free actions. They do not cost you your action, and it's buy a building. And to buy a building, you just pay the cost that's right here in the renowned banner. So this would cost 4 coins, this one's 8 coins, 4 coins. And if you are getting one that's underneath a book, then you have to have that many books already. It doesn't cost you books, you just have to have the books. So 1 book here, 2 books, 3 books. An event is one of these, and that's what these are for, to remind you that there are events available on those spaces. So if I move there, I could visit, because that's my one-time use thing, and then as my free action I could do the event, and you just pick which event you want to do, and you have to pay the cost. This one shows that you exhaust a hand. So one of these that has a hand on it, if you have more than one, you have to exhaust it. And the way you exhaust crew members is you take one from above deck to below deck. And that shows that you've exhausted it. It's not available to exhaust anymore. And then pay 4 fish. Okay, the reward up here is influence. You'll see the eye here matches the eye on this track. So this shows 3 cubes. So you're going to take 3 cubes, and you have to start from the left and start filling them in. And you'll see there's influence down here underneath the cubes. So you're going to, each cube is only available to 1 person. So whoever the next person to put influence down would start here and work to the right. And some will come off. And so whenever there's holes and gaps, you're going to always start from the leftmost open space and put your cubes down. This one here, it costs you 1 attack and you get 1 influence. So you put 1 cube down. And it works just like the attack over here. Okay, let's talk about these different spaces. When you go to your home port and you visit it, you don't have to pay because that's your home port. If somebody else visits your port, they would have to pay. This blue scroll banner here, this is rest. And what rest does is it takes any of your crew members and takes them from below deck to above deck. Except for if you have wounded crew members, and wounded crew members become unwounded. So they get flipped from the wounded side to the unwounded side, and so they would have to rest again to become above deck. You would pay a book to get an influence. So put an influence cube down. And this one says you get to rest and you get a pirate. Pirates are used for attacking, so are sea serpents. This one you rest and you pay a book to get 2 renown. So renown works like this. You just start at the left, and if I would have got 2 renown, I'd move it up to 2. If I'm already up there, then I just move it forward 2. Once you get to here, you would take that off and you get some kind of benefit. This one would give you 2 pirates. So you take 2 pirate cards. This one gives you 3 coins, and this is worth renown at the end of the game. It's worth 7 renown. Okay, this one you rest. You also get a wood or a fish. And you put those down below and at the bottom of your hold. You'll notice you have a limit of 10 fish or wood. So you just put those down there, and then you'll have things that cost wood or cost fish to buy. Okay, that's all the 4 ports. Now let's talk about each of the different cities here. We got Underval. This is rest. You get to add a crew member. So you're going to take one of these here. And if you take this one, it's free. If you take this one, it costs a coin. If you take this one, it costs a coin. And whichever one that you take, you look at the symbols up there and they do different things, right? This one would allow you to, if it's above deck, it allows you to move one space faster, one space farther. If it's above deck. This one lets you roll an extra die when you're attacking. And then you have to pay a coin to get that extra crew member. So once you've taken one of these off, you put it above deck, then everything slides to the right and you put another one up. Sun's Rest says you pay 2 fish per unexhausted person on your deck. So you can do up to however many you have on deck to get sea serpents. So if I had 2 above deck, I could get up to 2 sea serpents, but it would cost me 4 fish. Farwold is the renown, and if you move there, then you get to take one of these 2 cards. You get to do one of these 2 cards as actions. This one would give you 2 renown, so it would move you up 2 spaces on the renown track, and then whatever's in this light colored banner happens to everybody, even the person who went to Farwold. This one says, per seaboard where you control more towns than any player. So each board on here, if you control more towns than any player, then you get 2 renown. So you're going to look around at all 4 boards, and you would control those towns if you had either attacked them or used influence. Okay, this one is this one doesn't even give you any special thing, but everybody gets a renown per wood that you own. So if you have some wood over here in your hold, everybody who has wood, and a limit of 7. So that's Farwold. Let's go up to the Grotto. You get 4 fish and another fish per every worker crewman that you have on deck. This one gives you a book and a renown. This one lets you rest and put a cube down on your influence. Here you get 2 pirates and a wood for every worker that you have on deck. Here you get to pay a fish or a wood for every worker up on deck that you exhaust to get a book. Here you get you pay a wood per worker on deck to get a pirate, or if you pay a coin with your wood, then you can get a sea serpent instead. That's Borsham. Morlim gives you a new worker and a renown. Stratic lets you get these buildings. Instead of paying the cost up here to build them, to buy them, you are building them, and the building cost is down here. So you have to pay this cost down here if you visit Stratic. Here, Grenil, you get 2 wood, and you get a wood for every worker. Okay, so when you're playing a 4-player game, you have to get to the game ends when somebody has gotten to 7 buildings. If you're playing 2 or 3 players, you go to 8 buildings. So that is how the game ends, is once you get to the 8th building. And the reason why you got the first player card is it goes, whoever gets to the 7 or the 8 buildings, then it goes around to the first player, and then you get one last round, every person. And then you're going to score up the renown. So the renown is on these cards. You've got renown here. You're going to look up here for renown. You're going to look at all these counters that have renown. Anything that's got that banner on it. And there may be cards that say at the end of the game gain some renown or something. Okay, let's talk about attacking these towns, because when you attack them they can become yours, and then you mark them that it's yours. So the red banner is what you're looking for to attack, and you have either pirates or sea serpents or both, and you're going to roll a die. You can have as many cards of these as you want, but you get to pick and say, well, I'm going to use one sea serpent, one pirate to do this attack. So you don't have to use all of them. For each card you use, you're going to roll a die. And then if the die is greater than or equal to the number on the card, then you put it on there. So if I did this attack, there's a 4 and a 1. I could put the 4 here on this one that says 4. This means 4 or greater. This means 1 or greater. This is 5 or greater, 3 or greater. So that 1 wouldn't be useful over here, but I could use the 1 there, and then I could use the 4 there. So 2, this is the value of the attack. 2 here, plus 1 here, and I would have an attack of 3. Well, I have to hit 10 to be able to defeat that town. So that wouldn't work. I'd have to definitely have more cards than that. And you can wound somebody that's on deck. You flip them over and move them below deck, and that wounds them, and that adds 1 to your attack. Now if somebody already owns that town, you can still attack it, but you have to defeat it by 2 extra. And then you take it from that person. That's how attacks work. Influence, or the blue banners, and influence is based on these cubes down here. So what you have to do is you take off as many cubes anywhere you want that have the value here that adds up to at least to the number here. And then you would put one of your cubes on there, and that would become your town, and so people would pay you to visit that town. And if somebody attacks you later, your town, you have to pay 2 extra influence to do that. You'll notice on some of these when you visit, here's a downward arrow. Downward arrow means you exhaust something. So this one would be exhausting somebody who has the scroll. And looking at our reference card here, the waves here, +1 ship speed when on deck. So just like I said with this one that was over here, that you could move 1 extra space. Your boat can move 1 extra space when you're on deck. This one says you roll 1 die in combat when you exhaust. So this one with die, if it's up on deck and you exhaust it, you get to roll an extra die when you're attacking. So it does not give you an extra card, it just gives you another die, so that you can potentially get a better die roll and put it on the card. The scroll one says end movement in an occupied region when you exhaust. Okay, what that means is if you're moving your ship and you move it into a space that has somebody else's ship in it, you have to exhaust one of these, one of your crew members that has a scroll. And then you have one with the eye with the down arrow. +1 influence value when you exhaust. So if we had one of these with the eye, like this one here, that was up on deck, and you were trying to do influence to defeat a city, you could exhaust that one to get 1 extra. And then a couple of, so this is all abilities that are on your crew members. Down here you've got wood. You can spend a wood to re-roll a die. So if you have a wood here, you get a bad die roll or a single die. You want to re-roll a die, you pay a wood to do that. And your fish, you can pay a fish to move 1 extra space. So that's how Islebound works. So once you're just going to the certain number of buildings that you've got out, and then you're totaling up the amount of renown that you have built up for sailing your ship around and having pirates and sea monsters with you and attacking. So make sure you tune in to all of our videos at the Board Game Network.